So I want you to see this. He's going to lay out, first of all, why he's writing this letter. And why would anybody listen to you? Why would they listen to you? Have you ever thought, why do I listen to this person? I'm telling you, most people don't. Again, I get TikToks, I get YouTubes, I get all this stuff, 3 or 4 people a week. What do you think about this? What's this? I just go back to the source. Why are they talking? Why do they think anybody ought to listen to them? Most of the time it's because they want to talk. I'm scared to death to listen to somebody about God that just wants to talk. You know, the prophets mostly didn't want to talk. Have you studied this? Most of the prophets didn't want to talk. They were like, I don't want to serve you, God. I'm not worthy of serving you, God. Isn't it funny? People all over social media are just dying to tell you something, and the prophets and the apostles really weren't. They were scared to death they might get it wrong. You really think God's changed that much, or you think it's just people and their hubris? Be careful. So who's he writing to? That's another good thing, right? Because not every letter is to everybody. I see this in Timothy all the time. Study to show yourself approved, a workman rightly dividing the word of truth. You ever heard somebody say that to you? You're not a workman. Don't worry about it. Most people are not workmen, and yet the church has taken that and thrown that like it belongs to everybody. If I wrote a letter to this lady right here, I promise you, I'm not going to write it like it's to all of you. Does that make sense? And if I name you when I write it, I'm certainly not writing it to all the rest of you. Now, I'm sure there may be aspects in it that could apply to you, but I really need to know if I'm writing it to this lady right here, whether it applies to me or not. And probably, guess what? It doesn't. It's good for me to look at and use, but she may have a quality that's causing me to write this to her that you don't have. And yet somehow the church doesn't pick this up. We're not able to use just like normal cognitive understanding and see these things. Oh, everything in the Bible's for all of us. We'll find out in a minute. Workman's a very definitive term. It's a very definitive term, kind of like licensed engineer. It doesn't just belong to everybody. And, what we might write to an engineer, we might not write to everybody else, right? Go and build that bridge over there. You might not want some of us in here building that bridge over there. You might not want some people operating in the gift of a workman either. Does that make sense?